It's Christmas Eve, and Officer Ben is on patrol with Sergeant Robinson, who is doing his best to discourage him from pursuing his quest to take down Colletta, telling him, "You've been on the force a year. You really think you're ready to take on someone who single-handedly funded the mayor's re-election campaign?" But Ben doesn't let up. He is even more determined because he believes someone has to, given the special crimes Colletta has in his back pocket. A statement that Sergeant Robinson warns him that his badge is not going to protect him if he continues down this path. Marco Colletta is a recently established crime boss, establishing a foothold in Minneapolis by funding high-ranking city officials with the proceeds of his lucrative drug trade selling mist. Mist is a highly unstable, mind-altering stimulant wrecking the streets of Minneapolis, and Marco will go to whatever means to keep his newfound empire going, including putting a hit on any officer with the aspirations of taking him down. Cutting back to Sergeant Robinson and Officer Ben, they spot someone having a mist-induced experience and calls for a medic. While they question the man on where he got the drugs from, they are ambushed by a gang in a drive-by shooting. Officer Ben fires back at them, killing one of the gunmen, but Sergeant Robinson collects a bullet in his shoulder. When the ambulance they call arrives, they take Sergeant Robinson back to the hospital, as well as receiving a report on the radio that one of the shooters and the driver are in custody. At Coletta's office, his men report back to him that the task to take out Officer Ben was botched, which he isn't too happy about, asking, "How do you screw up an ambush?" His men assure him that they will handle it. They just underestimated the rookie and the washed-up sergeant. Colletta gives them the instruction to make the call and never question him again. It's now Christmas Day, and there's a bombing at the police department done by Geppetto, a once renowned and brilliant scientist with an affinity towards toys of mass destruction. When Ben gets the news, he quickly gets dressed as all officers are requested to report to duty immediately. But as he rushes out of his apartment to head to the police station, he is knocked out by Coletta's men, who are given the instruction to deliver him to Geppetto. At the station, all the officers are ready to go, just waiting for Ben to arrive. But it's been an hour since he answered the call, so Sergeant Robinson believes that something must have happened to him. So he'll have dispatch ping Ben's phone, which might lead them to whoever is responsible for the bombing. Ben has since been delivered to Geppetto, who is testing one of his experiments on him, proclaiming that he is going to turn Ben into his greatest creation, a living toy soldier, by pumping mist and all sorts of things into Ben, who screams in pain. But the cops arrive just in time and demands Geppetto to surrender and step away from Ben. However, things take another twist as Geppetto transforms into a full green beast and begins to fight back against the cops. Sergeant Robinson, in the meantime, sets Ben free from the machine Geppetto hooked him up to, but he is now fully turned into a living toy soldier, just as Geppetto proclaimed. Ben makes the best of it and takes on Geppetto head-on, eventually knocking him out with his new power. Ben is then taken to the hospital, where he discovers he is perfectly fine and actually has the ability to turn his new power on and off. While on the other hand, Geppetto is stuck in his odd green ape-man form. And we end this issue with Ben being informed that nobody but the SWAT team knows about his powers and is commended that the world needs a hero. The world needs the Tin Soldier. And with that, let's put the Relentless Tin Soldier on our Xplanations judgment scale. Usually I would say Christian fiction judgment scale because it does have a ring to it in my head. But to my knowledge, this comic is made by a Christian, but it isn't one of those that gets theologically heavy like some of the other series we cover. So in those cases, it's just the Xplanations judgment scale where we take out our signature theological basis category. And there's nothing wrong with that. So let's start with the story, which I would give a 3.75 out of 5, which is our go-to score for comics with strong concepts and an enjoyable story that fumbled a bit on the landing in my opinion. The premise of the story wasn't anything groundbreaking. It followed the classic archetype of a rookie cop driven by aspiration to root out corruption in the city, steps on the toes of whoever is the head crime boss they are going after, and realizes they might be in way over the head. And that part is quite enjoyable. It's a Tin Soldier aspect that had me going, wait, that's it? I'll do my best to describe it, but it worked out too perfectly with Ben in the end. And I don't mean that in the sense I wanted him to die or something horrible to happen. Things just worked out too smoothly for the build up that was made in the center part of the comic. Dude got experimented on by a mad scientist who wanted to turn him into a toy soldier who orchestrated a bombing on the police station to lure him out. He gets freed by his fellow police officers from the operation table he was strapped to, takes down the scientist who experimented on him immediately afterwards, goes to the hospital for a checkup only to realize he has full control of his powers and is immediately welcomed into the police force as a hero. Even his facial expression after getting experimented on laying on the operation table stuck me with the, oh, this is just a regular Tuesday on the job vibe. You get what I mean? Like, I really enjoyed how they built up Colletta and showcased how deep the level of corruption goes in the city. But the ending, it just felt like, okay then, this is apparently just a normal Tuesday event, on to the next. I really hope I expressed that well. It just didn't have that like suspense or dread that was building up that you usually get from these kind of rookie cops stepping on the toes of a bad guy. Even though he got experimented on and that was like stakes and the explosion at the police station, everything after that was just like smooth sailing. Everything gonna work out. Everything just worked out precisely perfectly, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, one or two of the cops and they got beat up on by 8 man. I mean, that's normal. That's normal. The extras gonna have extra things happen to them. That's just normal. But just everything else with Ben just worked out too smoothly. Even the final dialogue for me, I was like, wait, that's it? I was honestly surprised that was it. Just everything worked out perfectly. No stakes. So yeah, I hope I expressed that properly. Moving on to the artwork and creativity section, and I'll give it a 4 out of 5. The art style was quite enjoyable, some uncanny faces as always in every comic we cover, and the concept of the story, though nothing groundbreaking, it does seem to have a lot of potential, even though I feel like this issue just played out too safely for how it was built up. I also really like the name of the comic, though that doesn't contribute to anything on our judgment scale, but I mean, you can't deny that the Relentless Tin Soldier doesn't have a ring to it. I mean, I just love the name of the comic. When it comes to our recommendation score, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It's just a standard first issue to a comic series to add to a collection, and I'm pumped to check out the second issue. So overall, The Relentless Tin Soldier issue 1 gets a 3.5 out of 5 from the Xplanations. Link to purchase the comic will be in the description below if you want to check it out, as I am slowly but surely making my way through the Starcross Comics catalog. So please be sure to check them out. If you enjoyed the video, then why not consider leaving a like on it and subscribing for more reviews and coverage of comics made by professing believers. If you enjoyed the video to the point you want to check out another one on the channel, then be sure to click the card at the top right hand corner of your screen to check out our other The Relentless Tin Soldier reviews. I love that title. It just doesn't ring off the tongue, if you know what I mean. If you haven't, or click this video to check out something that YouTube thinks you would enjoy next from the channel.